go.
This is dedicated to you!
That's right, baby. This is indeed dedicated to you. It's the Meaningwave, bottom 50, coming at you. Coming at you live. From Playa del Carmen in Mexico. The least loved.
Why you wanna be on top? Christian rock, doo-wop, or hip-hop. We all lose face and it's all we got. Let me take you down on a merry-go-round through the world that's world-renowned. 15 minutes of shame, how that sound? I see a thundercloud raining on your underground. Raining on your underground. Raining on your underground. When I fall, I hope to land on a Persian rug or a music stand or a trampoline or a beanbag chair. Bottom of the pops, I'm halfway there.
Chili, WG, West MC from the WC. Double the pain and double the glee. Smells like wordplay, WP.
Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop till you drop to the bottom of the pops. Don't stop, don't stop.
Do it up.
Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop till you drop to the bottom of the pops. Don't stop, don't stop.
What's up, baby? How you doing? Welcome.
And dance. Listen, man, you had your chance. Now you just sit around in your pajama pants. Don't stop, don't stop. Everybody,
What's up, baby?
how you hung up the day
Welcome to the bottom.
and how you got
You've been to the top now.
say it, you snooze.
You're gonna find out all about the bottom.
An illusionist. You can know what the illusion is. Ha, you deserve
Everybody ignore Gotham.
top of the totem pole. On that mountain, you got a long way to go. But
Yeah, baby, what's cracking? How you doing out there? Wave emojis in the chat if it's a beautiful day to be alive for you.
the show. Don't
Pretty sure it is.
Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop till you drop to the bottom of the pops. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop.
Don't stop till you drop to the bottom of the box.
Don't stop, don't stop.
I can't believe I got the perfect song for this show, this venture, this experiment.
When I fall, I hope to land on a Persian rug or a music stand or a trampoline or a beanbag chair. Bottom of the pops, I'm halfway there.
Chili, WG, West MC from the WC. Double the pain and double the glee.
What up, everybody? What up, Alec Moran? What up, Phil? What up, Jeff? Jeffrey, Babuda, Isaac.
Don't stop, don't stop.
Who's in the house?
Stop till you drop to the bottom of the pops.
What up, Hercules? Are you listening? I think my sons are listening. What up, beautiful wife? I think beautiful wife is listening.
Stop, don't stop.
Everyone's excited to find out what the least popular Meaningwave songs are.
Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop till you drop to the
I just come from the gym. Once again, it was half an hour late starting, which meant I had it finished at like 22:22.
drop to the bottom of the
I had to just run back, jump in the shower, all that. My hair's weird. We're here though, baby. It's exciting. We still don't know whose idea this was. What we're doing here today, brothers and sisters, we have the Meaningwave Top 50, right? Where we count down the 50 most streamed Meaningwave songs across all platforms. As you might know, according to my DJ library, there are currently 600 vocal Meaningwave songs. And so we count down the top 50, the 50 most streamed. We get that data from our distributor, AOL, who in the back end, they tally up all the streams. As we discovered last week, the number one track had 35,000 streams, I believe it was, in the past month. That most streamed.
with the bottom.
To those who have everything more will be given type joints. And someone had the bright idea during the second to last Meaningwave Top 50. I don't know who it was. We still don't know who it was, but somebody said, the top 50's fire. I bet the bottom 50's fire too. And I was like, wait a minute. I would like to know what the least streamed, and this is on DSPs. I know people listen to music in other ways. This is, on Spotify, iTunes, that sort of thing. This is where the data is from. But this is what we're able to ascertain. What up, Sagittag? Just sent $5.43. I wonder what the significance of that is. Says, that thing is, don't mention bottom 50. After all, as the Lord said, At the beginning of the universe, you must draw the line somewhere. We're going to get a lot of bottom jokes, aren't we?
You at the bottom.
I see what's happening here. Well, we're headed to the bottom of the charts, and I have this song, one of my favorite songs is Chili Gonzales, Bottom of the Pops from the Presidential Suite LP, and this would appear to be our theme. And if we ever do another one of these, I'll just play this song. And I shouldn't say just is one of those weak words. There's another one, trying. I'm in the process of eliminating weak words from my vocabulary. Just is usually weak. Apart from when we're talking about that Radiohead song, and that Radiohead song is fire. Anyway though, baby, we're counting down and we're going to see what is languishing at the bottom. At the very, very bottom of the chart. And like I was saying, at the top of the chart, the numbers are in the tens of thousands. In the tens of thousands of people are streaming the stuff in the top 50. Down at the bottom, it ain't so sweet, baby. At number 50, are you ready? Are we going straight in, or should we wait for a few more people to get hit? Alec Moran says YouTube is at it again. It won't push out notifications, even though I've got notify me and everything. So make sure to share and like, everybody. Indeed. Oh yeah, you really do need to be beating the bejesus out of that like button. You really do need to be just like causing that thing pain and suffering. You need to go full Goggins on the like button. Only you can save mankind. Gotham says, I bet this is still going to be fire. Yes, of course. Bull Killer 3644. Let's take stock of who in the back rooms of the Meaningwave stable. Is Jason Eva in the house? Anyone? And I would be interested to see what you think is going to be at the bottom. At the bottom of the pops. The Meaningwave pops.
At the bottom.
But shit. Without further ado. Like I was saying, at the top we're talking 350,000 streams, something like that for the top song. And even...
See you at the bottom.
And like number 50 is 5,000 or something like that. Not so bountiful down the bottom. At number 50 with 142 streams in the past month. Joseph Campbell and Akira the Dawn, Nature is Still Ours.
What happens is that the old fascination disappears, an echo remains, and you... The old fascination disappears, an echo remains. The old fascination disappears, an echo remains.
Echo remains.
You have, as it were, the vestige of mythology. The problem of our present age is to recreate the mythology for today, on which people will live, on which the society will grow. It is being done. It's being done well. People aren't always looking in the right place for it, but it is taking shape. Our great art, my view of this is a vision of a poet and of a first-rate physical time, and it has the same song in it that one reads and hears in the old Upanishads and in the sayings of the great prophets. Nature is still ours. It is in us. It is in the universe. Nature is still ours. It is in us. It is in the universe.
50, kicking it all off. Nature is Still House with Joseph Campbell at number 49. And the Meaningwave bottom 50. Jordan Peterson, Noah 4. Something to do with respect. Getting so little respect down here at the bottom of the charts. It's like a Rodney Dangerfield bit. What up, though? It'd help if I played the vocal version.
So Ham makes this desperate error and is careless about exposing himself to the vulnerability of his father, or something like that. He does it without sufficient respect. And the judgment is that not only will he be a slave, but so will all of his descendants. And he's contrasted with the other two sons who, I suppose, are willing to give their father the benefit of the doubt, something like that. And so when they see him in a compromising position, they handle it with respect and don't capitalize on it. And maybe that makes them strong. That's what it seems to me. And so I think that's what that story means. It has something to do with respect. 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 You know, and the funny thing about having respect for your culture, and I suppose that's partly why I'm doing the biblical stories, is because they're part of my culture. They're part of our culture, perhaps, but they're certainly part of my culture. And it seems to me that it's worthwhile to treat that with respect, to see what you can glean from it. And not kick it when it's down, let's say. It has something to do with respect. 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 It has something to do with respect. Something to do with respect. Something to do with respect. Something to do with respect.
Intellectuals are very
Number
good
48.
They're professionals at it.
What up, Noam Chomsky?
There's no way of responding to it. If
Noam
somebody calls
Chomsky,
you
everybody.
an anti-Semite, what can you say? I'm not an anti-Semite. You know, somebody says you're a racist, you're a Nazi or something. You always lose. I mean, the person who throws the mud always wins because there's no way of responding to such charges. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
What up, Big Bad Wolf says this is a banger too.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah. What did you think was going to happen? Is Meaningwave. Wow.
I do not think that the state ought to have the right to determine historical truth and to punish people if deviate. I'm not willing to give the state that right, even if they happen to.
But are you denying that the gas chambers ever existed?
But I'm saying if you believe in freedom of speech, you believe in freedom of speech for views you don't like. I mean, Goebbels was in favor of freedom of speech for views he liked. Right. So is Stalin. If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech precisely for views you despise. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. There's two positions you can have on freedom of speech. Now you can decide which position you want. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. With regard to my defense of the utterly offensive, the people who express utterly offensive views, I have the slightest
doubt that every commissar says, you're defending that person's views. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm defending his right to express them. The difference is crucial, and the difference has been understood outside of fascist circles since the 18th century.
If you're in favor of freedom of speech, that means you're in favor of freedom of speech precisely for views you despise. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. Now, you can decide which position you want. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, Noam Chomsky.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
At number 48 in the Meaningwave bottom 50 with a whopping 140 streams. Yeah! Now, what's cool about this is at the end of this stream, we're going to publish a playlist of the bottom 50, and I wonder if the existence of that playlist will affect the streams on these records. Suddenly they'll become the most popular ones.
Freedom of speech. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech. Otherwise, you're not in favor of freedom of speech.
I would be interested to know if Noam Chomsky still holds this view.
Precisely for views.
This vocal sample is 20 years old or something.
You're not in favor of freedom of speech. Now, you can decide which position you want.
I made this record, obvious reasons why it's a useful and important message, but I thought it would be useful to have Noam Chomsky as the guy speaking, since for whatever weird reason, freedom of speech has now become a right-wing position, which was not the case when I was a little kid. And a lot of people who just sort of follow these things like their football teams and don't pay too much attention are under the idea that freedom of speech is like an evil istophobe point of view or something, right? So that's why I did Noam Chomsky on this one. I like this record. This is a good record, baby. And it's in our chart. It's in our chart at number 48. And if that ain't nice, I don't know what is. Aside from the fact that it's Haley Hansen's birthday, and we're doing this whole thing for Haley Hansen's birthday. Obviously, it's a Haley Hansen's birthday bottom 50. Happy birthday, Haley. Make some noise, how you doing out there? What up, Mute Barbecue? Appreciate the support. Says it's not the bottom 50, it's the 50 deepest cuts. That's right. Nathan James says he dead. He ain't dead. Is he dead? I don't think he's dead. A mate of mine interviewed him a couple months ago. Anyway, moving swiftly along to number 47. It's crazy. There's songs off this same album that are like in the top 10 or something, I think.
Akira.
I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it works out. Number 47 with Alan Watts.
You know the old question. If a tree crashes in a forest and there is nobody around to hear it, is there a noise? This question has been discussed in many futile ways. But noise, basically, is a state of affairs that requires an eardrum and an audio nervous system behind the eardrum. When the tree falls, it makes the air vibrate. If there is anywhere around an ear with the appropriate nervous system, there will be a noise. Because noise is a relationship between motion in the air and ears. If there is not any ear around, there won't be any noise, although there will be vibration in the air. And if there is some instrument around, such as a microphone attached to a tape recorder, there will be noise. Whoa! There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. In the same way, let's suppose the sun sends out light into space. Now, the space surrounding the sun will be black darkness, as if there were no light in it, unless a planet happens to float by. When a planet floats by, there will be light. In the darkness. essence of your nerves, your whole being. That it's all an interdependence. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness.
In the darkness.
There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light.
In the darkness. I'm shocked that this is here. I don't even know how that's possible. But supposedly that is the case. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the data of this, and I don't know where Jason's gone, but when we track Jason down, we will find out what the exact date range for this data is.
This way.
And if it truly is a month or 28 days of streams, it's absolutely mental to me that this is down here. Particularly considering songs on the same album are so high, but that's where we're at. And then similarly,
Hindu divide life into certain stages.
number 46, Alan Watts again,
Called the ashramas.
Agrarian Society. I love this song.
First is called brahmacharya. The second grihastha. And the third vanaprastha. Brahmacharya means the stage of the student, the apprenticeship. Grihastha, the stage of the householder. And vanaprastha, the stage of the forest dweller.
The last one was There Will Be Noise with Alan Watts.
Cultural
This is Agrarian Society.
Before we have agrarian communities, we have a hunting culture, which is on the move. In a hunting culture, every male knows the whole culture. There is no division of labor. And the holy man of the hunting culture is, of course, called a shaman. A shaman is a realized man, a man who knows the inner secret. He's seen through the game. And he finds it by going away alone into the forest and cutting himself off from the tribe. That is to say, from social conditioning. And he goes maybe for a long period into the forest and comes back. He's found out who he is. And he sure isn't who he was told he was. But as hunting cultures settle into agrarian patterns of life, what do? They build a village. And around the village they set up a stockade, which is known as the pale. And the village is always, of course, standing at crossroads. And there you get in an agrarian society a division of labor. And the division of labor comprises four. In medieval Europe, we call them lords spiritual, lords temporal, commons, and serfs. In India, they are Brahmins, Kshatriya, that means fighters, Vaishya, merchants, traders, Shudra, laborers. So you've got the priests, the warriors, the merchants, and the laborers. Division of labor. The four sections of town. So the four basic castes. So when you are born into a caste, and your duty as a grihastha or householder is to fulfill your caste function and to bring up a family. When you've done that, you go back to the forest, back to the hunting culture, and you drop your role, and you become nobody. A shaman again. So a Hindu calls one who does this a shramana, which is of course the same word as shaman. And the Chinese call him a xia. But a shaman is an immortal. Why immortal? Because it's only the role that's mortal. That is to say, the man who is common to us all, which you could call the Son of Man. That's the real self. That's the guy who's putting on the big act. And of course, he has no name. Nobody can put the finger on it. Because you can't touch the tip of the finger with the tip of the finger.
Next stage in the mystery of the human development is that of old age coming up. Just about when you learn how to do what they've been trying to teach you, and you begin to fumble. Then you have to put stuff together, and for another few years, act as though you still could do it. And then everybody else begins to see you. He's not doing so well. They put another waiter in to take over the job for you and that kind of thing. You're gradually eased out. You're gradually eased out.
Okay.
The first half of life, when there's a knock on the door, you think,
Here it comes. Here it comes.
And the last half of life, when there's a knock on the door, you think, here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh man.
You know?
Alright, let's see what's cracking here. So, oh no, I just lost my chart. I just lost my thing. I've got to write again. Better 50. Where's my better 50 good? Where's my better 50 good? Oh my god. Here it is.
Responsibility and
Alright, so yeah, what we're doing here is we're counting down the bottom 50. I just saw someone asking about this. We're counting down.
that has said,
Alright, so from don't stop till you get to the bottom of the pops.
so you can't.
So the bottom 50, number one essentially,
Then you have what's called
will be the least listened to Meaningwave song on digital streaming platforms.
on the door.
Spotify, iTunes, etc., etc. Actually, Jason, what is the data from?
And the last half,
Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, what else is it?
here it comes.
Anyway, Here It Comes featuring Joseph Campbell is at number 45 with an incredible 132 streams.
Order that is going to take care of us.
Number 44, hi Jordan Peterson.
I enrolled in a swimmercise course.
Wild man.
It was me and this like really overweight kid and like these 60-year-old women, and man, they could out exercise me like mad. It was really embarrassing. Me and the overweight kid, you know, we'd be just panting ourselves 3/4 to death at the end of the bloody workout, and these 60-year-old women who weren't in great shape were like, you know, chatting away as if nothing was going on at all in the pool. So that was quite embarrassing. And as was going to the weight
We've all been there.
room, you know, because when I started I could barely bench press 75 pounds, and people used to keep coming over and helping me, which was the last thing I bloody well wanted, but certainly needed. I got to the point where I could bench press 225 pounds. I think that was the best I did, and I gained about 30 pounds of muscle in a year and a half. So that was a good thing. I was kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man. So, like I was kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man. And you know, I'm a little bit manic in my temperament, and so I was kind of going every direction at the same time. You know, I don't regret that. I had a fine time when I was a kid, but I needed to get disciplined, and I had to do it because I was working on these hard problems that I've been discussing with all of you, and I've been working on them really obsessively since I was probably about 18, maybe even earlier than that. So, like I was kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man. So, like I was kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man, kind of a wild man. Got to the point around 25 when I was in graduate school trying to get my PhD. I published 15 papers by the time I graduated, which was, I think, by a fairly large measure, the most papers that any undergraduate student at that time had ever published at McGill. And at the same time, I wrote Maps of Meaning, which was a terribly difficult thing to do because I was writing about 3 hours a day doing that. And I couldn't do all that and continue with my misbehavior, you know, my sort of, my, what would you say, my massive hedonistic consumption of alcohol and all of that. I just couldn't keep it up, and also work seriously on the issues that were at hand. So I had to stop. That's a sacrifice. I had to stop messing about and straighten myself out. So, like, I was kind of a wild man.
Wild man.
Wild man. Kind of a wild man.
Jordan B. Peterson, wild man.
Like, I was kind of a wild man. Kind of a wild man.
Kind of
a wild man.
Kind of.
So, like, I was kind of a wild man.
Wild man.
Kind of a wild man. Kind of a wild man. So, like, I was kind of a wild man. Kind of a wild man. Kind of a wild man. I had to stop. That's a sacrifice. I had to stop messing about and straighten myself out.
I love that ending. It's a lovely ending. Wild Man, Akira the Don and Jordan B. Peterson from the album Father. Sitting pretty there at number 44 in the bottom 50. The 44th from the very, very bottom. And, you know, in a collection of so many records, it's still pretty good. Still pretty good. And, yeah. By the way, we should probably do the International High Five, shouldn't we? For the International High Five, do me a favor, let me know where you are and what you're predicting for, let's say, the top 5. Or just give us a predict. No, fuck that. What's your prediction for number 1, the least streamed Meaningwave song? What's your prediction? Matthew Felty, appreciate you, says, I have another commitment and I look forward to the replay. Enjoy yourselves, Akira and MAZ. We surely shall. Surely we shall, because we have so many amazing records. I haven't even looked. I don't even know what it is, right? I'm just glancing at the next few ahead, right? I'm keeping this spoiler-free for myself. Oh, there's some great songs. There's some great songs coming up. This one's great. Oh, I haven't heard this in ages. Number 43, Not Greatly Changed, featuring Joseph Campbell.
The fourth function of a mythology, then, is to center and integrate the individual in relation to himself, the microcosm, in relation to his society, we'll call that the mesocosm, the in-between cosm, in relation to the universe as he's able to know it, and finally, in relation to that ultimate mystery of which I spoke in the beginning. Now let me say a word about the problem of integrating the individual. This is the thing that has been the same. This is the thing that has been the same. Societies have changed, but the problem of the individual in his life course has not greatly changed. The human being is a very strange animal. He matures when he is about 20 years old. He has been growing for 20 years. Most animals, that's the length of a lifetime. So here is a creature who has grown for 20 years in an attitude and in a position largely of dependency, uncertain of himself, turning to his parents for help, instruction, protection, approval, and punishment. This creates a psychological structure of dependency. The individual is in an attitude of dependence on parental figures. Then we ask him to become responsible, to assume responsibility. Grow up. Yeah. This is the thing that has been the same. This is the thing that has been the same. Societies have changed, but the problem of the individual in his life course has not greatly changed.
Man. That's a very Morrissey melody on the chorus right there, isn't it, by Jove? Hey, big up TD, appreciate the support. Shouts out to you. Not greatly changed right there. Shouts out to everyone locked in. Andrew Komarami says, can we do a top and a bottom 50 of all time? Maybe we can. Big Bad Wolf said, this is so nostalgic. How did I not hear this? So thankful. So thankful. And, you know, I agree. I also think Magnifico. I hear songs you don't normally hear. I haven't heard this song, I don't think, since it came out.
Of dependency when they ought to be responses of responsibility.
So indie sounding. It's got this like lovely shimmery late 80s indie sound.
Psychiatrist who tells them to grow.
A very Morrissey-esque melody on the chorus.
The problem is, but that's not so easy. After you have the business of a reflex, stimulus, response. The response takes place. The response of dependence. Now suddenly it's got to be responsibility. This is the thing that has been the same. This is the thing that has been the same. Societies have changed, but the problem of the individual in his life course has not greatly changed. It's been the same. This is the thing that has been the same. Society's changed, but the problem of the individual in his life course has not greatly changed. YBN Joseph Campbell. Shouts out to you at number 43. Let's see what people are saying. Where is everybody? What's going on? Shecky, you a BMF, says BBW. Big Bad Wolf. Gartham says, my guess is a internet historian song. Full Killer Maryland, what the hell is water? Dirk from Texas Fort Worth, least streamed as an undiscovered hit. Yeah, it is. Chris says, I like these. Ill Ink says, ooh, for some reason I thought we were working backwards, starting with the least listened first. That wouldn't be very exciting, would it? Why would we do that? Only exciting things over here. Bad Buddha Australia, I predict the least streamed song is Time by Alan Watts. It would be lovely to finish on. Well, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. That's in the top 50. And it's often in the top 20, that one. But this week, this month, I think it was a number 48 or thereabouts. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, Time will not be at the bottom of the pops because Time's in the top 50. I'm afraid. Sudrataj reckons Be Me Play Minecraft with Internet Historian. Ill Ink says that makes sense. Yes, it does. Jeff, the town of Catskill, New York. I think Using Machines will be in the top 5, which will be as shame as it is fire. I think it's good that the songs that are at the bottom are at the bottom because something's got to be, and they're all amazing. Every single Meaningwave song is amazing in its own way. I can't think of a single one that is not, in some way, shape, or form, magnificent. Digging this big time, says Shecky. Denver, Ill Ink, no idea. I likely haven't heard it yet. Yeah. Big Bad Wolf, Shecky will rock climb together. That's nice, isn't it, you cuties? We'll rock climb together and listen to Meaningwave, and I will wear a Meaningwave shirt. You're arranging a date. That's very cute. I approve. Meaningwave hangout clubs. Climbing rocks. Dibbity. Amcast says, hey guys, ever since I've been coming here, I've been having positive wins. Is that the Meaningwave? Is that the Meaningwave? I wonder. You already know. Illink says, wait a minute, I just thought of an album with songs that could be somewhere in this list. The Eric Weinstein one. I love that, but I feel it is lesser known. It is lesser known. You're right, that's very lesser known. You are right. Jason says, Time with Alan Watts is top 48. I was right, yes! Yeah! I love it when I remember things. Walking Mall Poet, Virginia, late to the high five messages, possibly Gary V. Eat Barbecue says, these are all bangers.
Shecky says, it's cute, I'ma wear Meaningwave too. Hey, who's wearing Meaningwave right now? I know I am. Cool Killer says, I think this is actually more fun than the regular, more top 50, even though that is amazing. Well, it's certainly, we have no idea. You know for a fact, when you're listening to the regular top 50, that you can hear a lot of Choco. I mean, you know for a fact. In this instance, you're not really sure. I mean, some things have surprised me already. You know what to do. You know what to do. You're gonna cock back. 3, 2. Oh well. 1. High five! Yeah! I had not queued up the next song. We still did a high five. It felt good, huh? That feel good? That feel good in your arm, in your soul, in your soul. Here we go. Number 42. Yeah. What up? Welcome back to us, Drew to me, Peterson. From the JBP Wave Father album. This is a song about my wife.
Even something as simple as like eye contact in a situation where there's a possibility of finding a sexual partner is a very important component, because eye contact indicates interest, and it also indicates, at least in principle, the possibility of approach. And so approach is dopaminergically mediated, and it's a positive emotional state. And that's also why, interestingly enough, if you go into a pharmacy and there's a rack of magazines, what's on the cover? What's on the cover?
Yeah.
Beautiful woman. Woo. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. On 50% of the men's magazines, there's a beautiful woman, and on like 100% of the women's magazines, which is really interesting, you know, because you might think, well, why is that? Why is that? And the woman's eyes are always looking out in a way that they're looking at you. It's an invocation of interest. And so, you know, magazines evolve. All the ones that don't get bought fail. And so what's happened is they all converge to the same point. And the same point is the thing that's maximally interesting to a magazine purchaser is a beautiful female face. Whether it's male or female. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. And we also know that, for example, with men, if you show them, this is a funny little study. So you show them the face of a beautiful woman, their eyes are looking that way, or this way, or they're looking right at you. You can check the activity in the dopaminergic center in a place called the nucleus accumbens, which is the same place that cocaine hits. Based on eye contact, that thing lights up. Lights up even more if she's wearing a red dress. Right, and you can get the same kind of lighting up with a red curvy sports car. My thought when I read that was the perfect situation is like a beautiful girl dressed in red, perched on a sports car with some cocaine. A beautiful girl dressed in red, perched on a sports car
with some
cocaine. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman.
Hey, it's a song about my wife. What up, baby? How you doing out there? It's the Meaningwave Bottom 50. At number 42, Beautiful Woman with Jordan B. Peterson from the Father LP. Wow. Ill Ink says, LMAO, thinking about that time JBP said on Twitter, not beautiful. With a link to the most recent Playboy cover. Yeah, that was a classic. Sorry. I can't remember. What was the quote? It was like, sorry, no matter how much Marxist propaganda or something. I think of that often. Saludos desde Puerto Rico. Akira, been following you since 18. Working out to this right now. Get after it, CH. Get after it. Vincente Caparini just took off my shirt because it wasn't Meaningwave. Burn it! Throw it in the fire. Michael, I'm building my Space Marines to this. I forgot to paint them up before I put them together. Haha, beginner's mistake, am I right? Are you supposed to paint them first? Like, my little brothers used to play with Warhammers, well, paint them, and they just painted them. I don't know if you painted them beforehand. Ba, ba, ba. Big Bad Wolf says it's cold. I had to check under a long sleeve thermal. I have a Faye Valentine Meaningwave shirt on. That one's a classic. That one is a banger. Ba ba ba. Woman. Jesse is in Portland. Ba ba ba. Shaky says, I love my Player.com and Don Studios t-shirt. It's my favorite. That one's nice. I need a new one. I worn mine to flip out. We need to do some new Don Studios, Player.com and MERCH. Either way, this broadcast is indeed brought to you by Meaningwave.com. Happiness being a side effect of meaning and all that. And head on over to Meaningwave.com today and get yourself one of these items, these lovely items that everyone's talking about, a nice Meaningwave t-shirt or something like that from Meaningwave.com. Currently, for a couple more days, it's the New Year's sale, and you get 20% of everything with code NY24 at checkout. Did you know that? Isn't that crazy? You can get all sorts of. You can get the t-shirt I'm wearing. That's a nice one, and lots of other stuff. Also, if you ever want to read lyrics, we've got a lyrics section. See here, and all the lyrics have been. Look at this. We've got the lyrics to the Mythos album have been added. So you can find lyrics for whatever you want here. You can find them by searching in the search thing there, or clicking one of these billion tabs. That's probably the least useful way of doing it, but they're all here. Oh, and finding them in here like that. You know what I mean? So you can do that. We've got lyrics. Isn't that great? Lyrics and fire merch and digital bundles and vinyl and CDs. And all manner of glory at Meaningwave.com, because happiness is a side effect of meaning. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. One of my favorite things about this song is that that was a girl kind of laughing girlishly at Peterson talking about cocaine. She was all excited, and she just laughed in exactly the right key to work in the song. That was very nice of her. Ba, ba, ba. I could listen to this all day. This is a good loop. This is one of those loops you can just leave on. Mute Barbecue's doing another night of board game with the kids and wife. Isn't that nice? Number 41. Young.
I want to read a passage from one of his lectures, which I think is one of the greatest things he ever wrote, and which has been a very marvelous thing for me. People forget that even doctors have moral scruples, and that certain patients' confessions are hard even for a doctor to swallow. Yet the patient does not feel himself accepted, unless the very worst of him is accepted too. Unless the very worst of him is accepted too. Yet the patient does not feel himself accepted, unless the very worst of him is accepted. himself and his own dark side. If the doctor wants to guide another, or even accompany him a step of the way, he must feel with that person's psyche when he passes judgment. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Yet the patient does not feel himself accepted. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Whether he puts his judgments into words or keeps them to himself makes not the slightest difference. To take the opposite position and to agree with the patient offhand is also of no use. Feeling comes only through unprejudiced objectivity. This sounds almost like a scientific precept, and it could be confused with a purely intellectual, abstract attitude of mind. But what I mean is something quite different. It is a human quality, a kind of deep respect for the facts, for the man who suffers from them, and for the riddle of such a man's life. The truly religious person has this attitude. He knows that God has brought all sorts of strange and inconceivable things to pass, and seeks in the most curious ways to enter a man's heart. He therefore senses in everything the unseen presence of the divine will. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Yet the patient does not feel himself accepted. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Unless the very worst is accepted too. Yet the patient does not feel himself accepted. Unless the very worst is accepted too.
Wow, that's one of my favorites.
It is a moral achievement on the part of the doctor, who ought not to let himself be repelled by sickness and corruption.
I got married. Well, the woman who's my wife, Tammy, who I've known since she was 8 years old, she lived across the street from me in this little town called Fairview, and I was in love with her like the first time I saw her, which is quite a bloody thing. So that's worked out pretty well for me, but she came to live with me about the same time, and we decided jointly to get our act together, and we swore that we tell each other the truth. I think she's actually done better than me. I don't think she's lied to me ever in our entire marriage, which is unbelievable. I don't think she's lied to me ever in our entire marriage, which is unbelievable.
Another way of talking about the web is that there are different levels of magnification. For example, supposing you take a piece of embroidery, and here it is, obviously in front of you, an ordered and beautiful object. Then you take out a microscope, and you look at the individual threads. At a certain point, as you turn up the microscope, you'll get a hopeless tangle. It doesn't make any sense at all. The wrapped fiber that constitutes the thread is a mess. Hasn't been organized, nobody did anything about it. But at the level of magnification at which you actually see it with the naked eye, it's all been organized.
It's a mess.
It's all been organized.
It's a mess.
It's all been organized. It's all been organized. All right, now keep turning up that microscope. Take one of those individual threads in the fiber that seems to be so chaotic. Go into the constitution of that. And again, you will find fantastic order. You'll find the most gorgeous designs of molecules. Then to keep turning it up. And again, at a certain level, you'll find chaos again. All right, keep going. And at another level, you'll find this marvelous order. Now you see, order and randomness constitute, in other words, the warp and the woof. Where everything is in order, everything's under control. In randomness, it's all been organized. It's a mess. 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 But we wouldn't know.
Broken Umbrella says I think about this song a lot.
Unless we had messes. It's the contrast of order and
number 40.
That
one accepted 2, Alan Watson, Carl Young. Number 40, Jordan Peterson, Tammy. Number 39, Organized Mess with Alan Watts. We're counting down the bottom 50 Meaningwave songs from the 50th least stream to the number 1 least stream.
The words life and death, being and non-being.
Out of those 600
only
and counting Meaningwave songs.
We pretend that the random side of things, the disorderly side of things, could possibly win in the game of competition, or I would rather call it collaboration between the two. When you lose sight of
you better be beating the crap of that like
order principle,
organize yourself into a like beating posse.
That's exactly the same predicament as losing sight of the fact that all individually delineated things and beings are connected underneath. You know, just like mountains stick out of the earth and there's the fundamental earth underneath them. So all of us as different things, we stick out of reality. And there's a continuity underneath, but you ignore that. See, that's the thing that's left out. It's all been organized.
It's a mess.
It's all been organized.
It's a mess. All of you pay attention.
Organized.
We're going to have a competition when we get to the top 10. Should make it easier for you to guess the number 1, and anyone who guesses the number 1 at that point will win a fabulous prize.
It's all been organized. It's a mess. It's all been organized.
Bad Buddha says, let's drag the like button through the town behind a horse. That's right. Strip the like button naked and parade it through King's Landing.
I'm just giving you many examples.
Throw bricks at it. Hey, that's a nice bit of piano right there. Number 39, Organized Mess with Alan Watts. 120 streams or something? Incredible. On DSPs. Oh, look at this. At number 38. With Terence McKenna. It's just amazing songs in the bottom 50.
I think of the psychedelics as
it's the archaic revival.
Catalysts to the imagination. They were back 100,000 years ago. The imagination, which was just this glimmering, this iridescence on the surface of ape cognition, was under the influence of the reciprocal feedback of self-reflection that is created by watching your own mind. Watching your own mind. Watching your own mind. Watching your own mind. Because it has suddenly become interesting, because it has suddenly been flooded by a psychoactive amine. That iridescence has been coaxed into language, art, architecture, music, poetry, the whole ball of wax. But now we know these things. We can uncover the secret of our origin. archaic revival. And the archaic revival is this overarching metaphor that is the way for us to go to save our necks at this point. When a culture gets into trouble, instinctively what it does is it goes back through its own past until it finds a moment where things seem to make sense. And then it brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present. The archaic revival brings that moment forward into the present.
Yo, this is a slick mix, says Michael. I love this song. I forgot about so many of these gems.
Major percentage of the people.
Ronald says, I swear this was top 25 years ago.
So that
yes, various songs that you will hear. I've just looked ahead at the next 10. Some of these been top 50. A bunch of these been top 50.
The golden age of
you know, and may yet be top 50 again. Who knows how the wind will blow. Welcome back, Joseph Campbell.
And traditional
number 37.
Initiation, right?
116 streams.
With
Mother's No Good.
Of reaction. Sometimes terrifically frightening and actually very painful rituals, so that the individual will no longer.
Richard says that's not a bottom track, that's a chart topper. Yes, it is.
Losing ones from,
of course it is.
For instance, where things are pretty fierce.
Many of these Meaningwave songs are. All it takes is one of you posting a TikTok doing a funny dance and it going crazy. And it's number one. Because that's how it works now.
Give them a good beating around the legs with sticks and so forth, and then in a few weeks, something very interesting happens.
Aye.
The men, all dressed up in strange, godlike costumes, such as the youngsters have always been taught were the figures of the divinities. They come in with bull roars and yowl, kinds of terrifying noises, and the children, the boys, run to their mothers for protection. And the mothers pretend.
That Cosmic Kangaroo at. Oh, there he is.
Men grab them and take them away, so mother's no good anymore.
Hey.
Now they have to face this thing. And then what they have to face is really no fun. So mother's no good anymore. Now they have to face this thing. And then what they have to face is really no fun. So mother's no good anymore. Now they have to face this thing. And then what they have to face is really no fun.
That means in practice then, that when you hand over your vocation in life, which is called your svadharma, that means sva, that's the same as the Latin suus, one's own. Dharma means function, your own function, or we would call your vocation. When you've completed it, you drop out.
And become nobody. Now, naturally, caste, holy men, and all that kind of thing can be exploited. Anything can be exploited and abused. And we can look at it all and say, what a mess. Why don't you do something for yourself? Why don't you kill the sacred cows and eat them? Why don't you clean up? Why do you permit all this disease? I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to. 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 I wonder.
Alan Watts sounded like a recent Owen Benjamin tweet there, but like God.
Any dream you wanted to. 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 Just try and see from another point of view.
Cosmic Kangaroo sad. Best part of that song, skip. The spoiler is the Cosmic Kangaroo and the Cosmic Dog had a fight. We've got a lot of songs to get to, and we only have an hour.
You really think it's as real as all that?
I don't know how we're going to do it.
Have you never experienced what's on the inside of this game?
Hey.
The trouble with you Westerners is you've never experienced this. You've never got down to the root of reality. You don't know that state of consciousness. And so you're frantically trying to patch everything up and pin it all together and screw the universe up so that it's fixed. You can never do it. All you do is go wildly rushing around and creating trouble. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to, any dream you wanted to, any dream you wanted to, any dream you, any dream you, any dream you wanted to. I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream any dream you wanted to, any dream you wanted to, any dream you wanted to, any dream you, any dream you, any dream you wanted to.
Let's welcome to the stage for Scary
Number 36 there with Alan Watts, Any Dream You Wanted. Number 2. Number 35.
I wish we had better perspective. I wish that there was some weird genie that could take us back into time so that every one of you could live one fucking day in your great-great-grandparents' shoes and understand how fucking good you have it. Like if you really, really understood. I'm not naive to what's happening in our society. Let me just say this very clear so everybody gets it through their fucking dome. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind. This is the best. This is the best. This is the greatest year to ever be alive in the history of mankind.
People going crazy. Some of these are ones I forgot were here, but I wonder if the Jack Kirby one is here, considering the bangers on this list, says Michael.
Thinking a lot about it.
Never been better than this, says Jay-Z the Lionheart.
Types of music indigenous to the...
Such a banger, says Big Bad Wolf. So many bangers. Oh.
I was talking about that this weekend.
How's that like abuse going?
Thinking a lot about it. I think the two basic types of music indigenous to this country are the black music, blues, and the kind of folk music that was brought over from Europe, and I guess they call it country music, or the kind of West Virginia high and low sound. Those are the two main streams of root American music. It looks like 10 years ago what they call rock and roll was kind of a blending of those two forms. I guess what's happening now is rock is kind of dying out, and everyone is going back to the roots again. Some are going back into country, and some are going back into basic blues. I guess in 4 or 5 years, the new generation's music will be, it'll have a synthesis of those two elements and some third thing. Maybe it'll be, it might rely heavily on electronics, tapes. I can kind of envision maybe one person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. Singing and speaking and using machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. One person with a lot of machines. Singing or speaking and using 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 machines. Tapes, electronic sounds. Using machines. Using machines. Using machines. Singing or speaking and using machines.
Wow. With Jim Morrison there, that's Using Machines. Meaningwave masterpiece. Cosmic Kangaroo said I made love to the like button and now I refuse to play child support. Ooh, you rotter. You rotter. Chris Dubendorf says 24 baby, ain't it just? Ronald Lopez says I didn't know Gary V till that album came out. Using Machines. Using Machines. Yeah. That was, by the way, the last song in triple digits with 100 streams. Those that have everything more will be given to those that have everything all will be taken.
Go on Amazon to buy a stainless steel popcorn machine. I love popcorn.
Popcorn emojis in the chat.
I love popcorn. Add my shit to cart. See, they have an upgrade to Amazon Prime called Amazon Prime X. Claims to deliver your order in under 10 minutes. I think it's bullshit. Free trial, so I use it anyway. I love popcorn.
Incredible. I
love popcorn.
Yeah, make some noise if you too love popcorn. Chinchilla in Manila. We need more green tech songs. They were fire before, there's only 4 of them. It is one of those things, I could listen to hours of their shit. We were, Internet Historian and I were talking about doing something else at some point. You never know. Cosmic Kangaroo says, Internet Historian is a huge Meaningwave fan. He used to comment on almost every video. Did he? He used to send me sneaky messages. And he used to like sneak in little screenshots of mixes into videos occasionally. He's a bad motherfucker right there. Alright, this next one is a certified hood classic. And it's where is it? Where are we? At number 32.
What would be the forms of culture that we would say to be necessary or most inclined to foster in the individual that blowing of the flame?
I think the most accessible form for most people is music. And music, to me, is the most representational form of art, because I think that the world is made out of patterns. And we perceive some patterns as objects, but fundamentally it's patterns. And what you want is all the patterns of the world to interact harmoniously in something where every element is related intelligibly to every other element. And I think that when your life is in harmony, then you can feel that. When you're dancing to beautiful music, you're acting that out. The music is the music of the spheres, and you're participating in the patterning of your being in accordance with that structure, and that gives you an intimation of transcendence. It's not criticizable. That's the thing that's so lovely about it, is even as our society has become more cynical and more self-destructive and more deconstructionist, the power of music has in fact grown. Because it speaks to that eternal harmony. And the reality of that eternal harmony in a way that mere intellect cannot deny. And I mean, I was always amused. I went to this show, the Ramones, a punk band from New York. It was the loudest concert I'd ever heard by a good factor of 10. My ears rang for like 3 days afterwards. There were all these like nihilistic punk rockers all crammed into this theater, and below me there was a mosh pit. It was like ants on a frying pan, and they were just smashing into each other and throwing people around up above them, and it was quite rough. And they were all having this beautifully transcendent musical experience which belied all of their nihilism. And they absolutely thrived on it. It was like, and even the lyrics were harsh and nihilistic, but it didn't matter because the music in its rough form was something that united them in the sense of this like patterned beauty and brought them together. And so exposure to music, people die without music. It's like, music is everything. 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 Hey, 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 hey.
1, 2, 3, go. Music is everything. Everyone loves that. And yet there it is. Just chilling. Down at number 32 in the Meaningwave bottom 50. My friend loved Meaningwave. I shared. He's listening so much to it. He sends me messages. I was just working out to the Jocko album, says Big Bad Wolf. Meaningwave missionaries, make some noise. We appreciate you. Music is everything. Yeah, that's one of those Meaningwave classics. If we were to do a poll, we might do that. I imagine that would be higher than where it is in that order. But this is why charts love interesting things, right? Do they necessarily reflect reality? I don't know. They reflect the reality of the individuals using these platforms to listen to the music. And what are these platforms? We should look at that. Jason Eva sent me over the platforms. So let's see what these platforms are. And I wonder how many of them will still be here in 10 years' time. Let's have a look. I'm going to go on Slizak and have a look. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. That's something else. Get out of it. Complete list of platforms. That's not... Oh. Is it really just Spotify, Apple, and Amazon that the data is coming from? That can't be right, because it's got TikTok as well. Jason, could you send me the complete list of sources for this data? Or is it purely from TikTok, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon? Let me know, because we do deliver to other places and they do report the information for that. So that would be weird if they're only using Spotify, Apple, and Amazon for that data, and TikTok. However, you judge TikTok as a source of chart data. It's very strange. I don't even know, but I do know this is our chart. Oh, look, my beautiful wife's in the chat. Hello, beautiful wife. Greeting the fans. Charlotte says, one of my favorites. What was that? Music is everything. It is great that music is everything. I do look forward to one day playing it live with a full band and a mosh pit. That would be good. Number 31.
Akira.
Be me. B16.
He's got clout. He's got clout. He's got clout.
Be me. B16. Be me. B16. Join track team with autistic friend to avoid PE. At team dinner night before the race. Start dicking around. He's bored as fuck. Bored as fuck.
Bored as fuck.
Autistic friends and I putting food in retarded places for the fun of it. Pour entire bottle of water on a loaf of garlic bread. Then the coach walks by. Anon, what the hell are you doing? I like it this way. I like it this way. I like it this way. I like it this way.
Hey.
Shove the entire loaf of sop and garlic bread into my mouth as the coach washes.
Hey, somebody do a Nightbot command. Someone try the Marmadon Nightbot command. Let's see if it works. See if we've got one. Do we have a Marmadon command?
Be me.
Be me.
B16.
Hey.
Be me. B16. Be me. B16. Be me. B16.
Yeah, that's nice. Wait a minute, Nightbot. Hey, Nightbot, stay away from my wife. What is this? Stop stealing my moves. Be me, B16. Custom Kangaroo says Nightbot is cutting your lunch, Akira. I know, right? Nightbot says, I love you, beautiful wife. Jesse says, many of these I know well from albums. The individual tracks, I don't think it's Akira. I'm an album lover. Ooh, Jason sent me something. I got something in Slack. I got some data. Let's have a look. We got some data in the Slack. What data have we got? How exciting. I love getting some data. This is for Music is Everything. What's for Music is Everything? Insights at the Orchard. Do I have to log in? I don't know if I can log in on this machine. I don't know if I can. We'll see. No. Ooh, maybe. Maybe I can. Logging in. It's not. Is it going to send me a text? It's going to send me a thing, isn't it? It's all right. I can. Have you heard this saying? Do you remember the internet when you didn't have to like use your phone to do codes and shit to go on a website? Do you remember those days? Do you remember when websites just had GIFs on them? It was just you know. All right, so you've sent me this page. This doesn't answer my question. And it's a page. It doesn't answer. Yeah, and I can't be reading pages in the middle of streams. I'm afraid that doesn't work. So, yeah, never mind that. So it will remain a mystery. The source of the chart data will remain a mystery, but we do know that it includes Spotify. We do know it includes Apple. We do know it includes Amazon, and we do know it includes TikTok. Don't know how that works, but we know that. And we also know that at number... Where are we? 30. We're at number 30. DM. BM.
That Merry fucking Christmas is that Goggins flow. Ho ho ho, action bias, go go go. Miss me with that so-so show. Y'all already know that. Broadcasting live from Don Studios in Mexico. Akira, there you go. Riding round a kayak in the back of a truck with Hercules, who's 8 years old. He be like, I love my life. I be like, yo, Tambia, me too. I also love my life. I love my people, love my music, love my son, I love my wife. Hey, way that always there's adventure to be found. When you following that path of meaning me, I lean into the sound. Don't need no reason, no motivation to figure that out. I've been up in the zone for years and I ain't coming down now. I'm in exile, trapping out the Airbnb. Turned the casa into Don Studios. 23 or is it 24? I don't even know no more. Moved around so much it's like my family and me live on tour. We was in LA before. Tom Hanks and his cronies shut down all the clubs I DJ'd in and unleashed all them phonies. Fuck the whole hood up, smashed the windows, set the place ablaze. I could see the worst was coming, so we went our separate ways. Ay, that place to hell, but as for us, we went to Texas. Brisket for breakfast, deer shitting on the lawn. Nice change in crackers, chopping wood up in my garage. Home Depot daily, built a studio. The people pay me cause I put the meaning in the music like no one before. Working on meditations, part 2 while I sum my books. For updates from the lawyer, read a visa. Alien of extraordinary ability, pleased to meet ya. Rap game Nietzsche. Told you this was coming back in 03, not a bug, it's a feature. When the people that purport to lead ya say you can't work to feed ya family, and now we need you to give up your freedom. You trade security for freedom, you deserve it neither. But you secure now in the chains they gave you, ain't you? Jesus coming soon, someone best be coming soon. Baby, no one's coming soon. Maybe it is you that must save you. But what do I know, man? I'm just a humble beat farmer. Better to be a warrior in a garden than be a gardener. In the war outside got crazy, I got calmer and trained harder so I can whip ass like that llama.
It really whips the llama's ass.
Incredible.
We left the UK, made the USA our home, but now we stuck outside like E.T.
I think Freddy's on the phone.
But we ain't dealing with the devil, no you cannot have my soul. There's a rubber in the road, but that's out of my control. You know me, focused exclusively on what's in my control. Existing in the moment, executing systems over goals. Life's as kind as you let it be, so I ain't gon' let it be so. Knowing when to say yes and when to say no. You can say no.
What up, TD?
No.
Appreciate you.
You can say no. Ay, you can say no.
No. David Goggins, Flow, Akira the Dawn.
You can say
number 30. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop till you get to the bottom of the pops. No, I mentioned working on Meditations Part 2 while I sun my balls. I was working on Meditations Part 2 back in Texas. It's true, I was. I've spent a long time on this record. Speaking of meditations, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Akira.
At number 29.
When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous,
surly.
They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own.
Yeah.
Not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. Not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. So none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the 2 rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these or obstructions. Yo, discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Whatever this is that I am, it is flesh, a little spirit, and intelligence.
This is absolutely mental. Apparently, Grateful to the Gods, which is actually it's one of the like top 30 songs of all time. Something like, we'll do the all time. I've looked at the all time. That's that's in the top something of all time. Somehow it's this month is in the bottom. That's incredible. I love this chart. This chart is absolute insanity. Number 28. This is less of a surprise given what we've had previously. There are more surprises coming. Surprises all over the place.
And then there is necessity and the need.
I'm so shocked that I'm making mild DJ errors. Wow. JC the Lionheart said, this is the first Meaningwave song I heard.
All of the high
Neo-Stoicism says, love the Stoic Wave stuff, brah.
and charming simple cultures
We've got 2 new Stoic Wave mixtapes coming up.
grown out of myth.
Of course, we've got Meditations 2 coming up.
They are founded on myth.
Come on.
These myths have been inspiration for aspiration. Now, where do these aspirations come from? They come from a very wonderful, childlike thing, fascination. You know, if you wanted to make money today, I'm no economist, but I'll bet the thing to do would be to invest your money in something like cameras. Things that people play with. Things that they're fascinated.
Yo, he was not wrong, was he?
Fascinations are the creations of new activities. And when we look at the old cultures, we can see.
Go!
All cultures have grown out of myth. All cultures, they are founded on myth. And what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration. And some of it is aspiration, indeed. What is most fascinating to begin with is one's neighbor, particularly if the neighbor is a very strange-looking creature. Now think of man in the old days. He was a minority on the planet. And when he looked at his neighbors, they had 4 feet, they had horns, they had great woolly bodies. They were very strange playmates. Furthermore, he was eating certain of them, and they were rather dangerous. He had to arrange some kind of arrangement with his neighbor. And we know that the first religious rites and the first religious address, so to say, was to animals, their neighbors. These were the images of God.
Go!
All cultures have grown out of myth. All cultures, they are founded on myth. And what these myths have given has been inspiration for aspiration.
Yo, that's a banger. That's one of my favorites. I haven't heard it for ages either. Shouts out to that song. Shouts out to Cosmic Kangaroo, who said something along the lines of, this is my second favorite album, so slept on. What's your first favorite album, Cosmic Kangaroo? Amanda Dancy says, you are all great. Our order shipped today and we're stoked to get our merch. Thanks, guys, gals. Hey, I am very glad that's the case. Very glad that your order is shipped. Panning Gaz, appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Says, please say hello to Cloud, Windell, and Sonia. I hope it's Cloud Windell. It might be Claude Windell, but either way, you and Sonia, what is up? Dedicate this song to you. This is called Be Me in Elementary School.
Be me in elementary school.
Let us hope it is not inappropriate.
Be me in elementary school. Time to present in front of the class. Get biggest boner of my life. Idea.jpg. Pull boner up and tuck it into my belt. Fits perfectly. You have to point at something at the top of the board. Front of shirt lifts up, exposing my dick tip to the whole class. My crush sitting in the front row gets huge eyeful.
Oh, thanks, it's an story. We've all been there.
My crush sitting in the front row gets huge eyeful.
Stupid Chad yells at everyone to look at my tiny dick. Not even that small. Crush starts laughing as tears start to well up in my eyes. Freak out and run out of the classroom. Laughing stock of the whole class. 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 Just had to quit the only job I ever loved. Because all my students saw my tiny dick.
Be me in elementary school. Hey, thank you, Internet Historian. That was, what was it? We were talking about we should do a project of some kind. And he had this idea to read green texts. So he just read some and sent them to me. And I turned them into songs. He chose them. Completely dealer's choice on that one.
Be me in elementary school.
I hope the other one's in this list because I wrote the other one's a masterpiece.
Be me in elementary school.
Light4079 says Spotify Rap says I was a top 0.5% fan and I spent 3,430 minutes listening to your music. Needless to say, it was a great year for me, you, Alan, Jocko, and Goggins. We've had some Alan, we've had no Jocko in the bottom 50, have we? Or Goggins. And it's funny because Alan is often in the top, but we've got a lot of Alan.
This notion that out of death comes life.
Joseph Campbell.
Very important.
He is a slept-on individual in the Meaningwave universe.
Religions of the world.
It's funny because you listen to this stream, you'd think he was one of the biggest. People are always asking for Joseph Campbell on this stream.
Find it is a spiritualization.
Meaningwave hardcore love
of this idea.
Joseph Campbell.
But then
Campbell Wave.
First cities appear in Mesopotamia about 3000 BC.
Cosmic Kangaroo says, What's Wave 5? The Web of Life is my favorite. I love the vibes of all those 2019 albums. 2019 was indeed a vintage Meaningwave year.
And there are professional priests.
I don't even know, looking back, how I did so much that year.
Those times came. And those men became aware of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars. And they calculated and recognized that these planets were moving in mathematically inevitable courses. And the idea came into being. Men became aware of the movement of the planets through the fixed stars, of a cosmic order, of mathematical precision. Men became aware of the movement of the planet
'26 Cosmic Order with Joseph Campbell, number 25. Good versus good. Hey, 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 hey. What up, Scott Adams? Ooh. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Hey.
Here we are.
I've worked it out.
It's the beginning of another great day. A sunny summer day. It's the best day for you know what. I'm going to read you a quote from Noam MacDonald. And he says this: the idiot sees the world as good versus evil. The cynic sees the world as evil versus evil. The truth that no one seems to be able to see is that the world is, and always has been, a battle of good versus good. Versus good. Versus good. Versus good.
Ba ba ba.
Wow.
Wow.
This is actually really profound. This is the situation we find ourselves in. There are not two sides in which one is good and one is evil. There are two sides in which one feels that it is good and it believes, incorrectly, that the other one is evil. But both sides are pretty sure that their version of the world is the good one.
Wow.
Wow. The world is, and always has been, a battle of good versus good. Versus good. Versus good. Versus good. Versus good. Wow.
Wow, we played that the other day. Who'd have thunk that we would then be hearing this 2 days in a row and in this context? Scott Adams quoting Norm MacDonald there.
Wow.
Beautiful record, classic. Wow. It's one of my favorites for sure. I've got half a mind to make a music video for that song. It doesn't have a music video. Give it a remaster maybe, or maybe not. It sounds great. Fuck it. And do some kind of campaign to try and get it to number one in the official everything charts. Utilizing the power of all connects. Maybe that should happen. Akira. Illink predicted this. Number 24, Eric Weinstein.
This is Eric Weinstein. Some of you have questioned why there is a ghostly image on the glass window behind me.
I was sitting in a parked car. I was rear-ended rather suddenly and dramatically yesterday. The airbags in the other car went off. I got to thinking about, with all of the things that we do to try to extend life and make life worth living, we forget how fragile it is. Had things been a little bit different, I might have sustained some more serious injuries. I was just put in mind of what really is important to accomplish before we leave this beautiful world. Those two things have me thinking about a topic, which is the subject of who that person
person is and the importance of having an archdevil.
If you want to find out what the fuck that was all about, you better go listen to Arch Nemesis, which is an EP featuring Eric Weinstein, and then you'll find out, because we're counting down the Meaningwave bottom 50, and we still got like 20 to get through.
I'm going to Mars! I'm going to space!
Number 23, I Had to Make Sales. Akira the Don and Jack Kirby. And that was Hercules at the beginning there. Did you like that?
Akira.
I'm going to space.
I see that story first. I feel that story first. I know those people first. When I put them down, they've already lived. I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages. My stories are very sincere. My stories are people's stories. And there's elements in my stories that are very, very real. Doesn't matter what the subject is. And I've done stories in a wide range of subjects. My inspirations were the fact that I had to make sales. I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages. My stories are very sincere. I had to make sales. I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages. My stories are very sincere.
Man, I love that record. That was one of the very first Meaningwave records in a way, because an early version of that song appeared on a mixtape I did about 15 years ago.
You could have been born at any point in history, but you're here today, and there's never been.
Number 22 on the Meaningwave bottom.
We are
Fitty.
broadcasting live from the peak born human nation. You're listening to Soft Slave Radio. And coming up next, we have the brand new single from Akira the Don. This is The Golden Age.
Got something away. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? I don't wanna be one of them anyway. I knew it from the start, just look at what we made. I'm stepping into my life, I'm not afraid. I don't, 'cause we believe in us, and we believe in love, and we know it's about to be a golden age. It's the golden age.
Number 22, Golden Age, Akira the Don, and number 21 is the one that started it all.
Confidence out there.
Oh my goodness.
1,000 of them. Go be a plumber, man. But be a good one, you know? Be an honest one. Because otherwise all you do is go out there and cause trouble. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems.
Solve problems.
We need people to solve problems. We don't need people to cause more trouble. We need people to solve problems.
The inaugural Meaningwave track. That's right, 2017, the one that started it all.
Go be a plumber, man. Be a good one, you know? both in terms of skill and ethics, right? And you work with someone who knows what they're doing, it's a bloody pleasure. They tell you what they're gonna do, they tell you how much it will cost, they go and do it, it works, and you pay them. Perfect. Everyone's happy. And that's what happens when you have genuine hierarchies of competence.
Genuine hierarchies of competence. Number 31 on the Meaningwave hierarchy. When I say number 31, I mean number 31 in the bottom 50. The 31 least, so if you were counting up from the very bottom, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 600. Right down here. At 21, be a plumber. Ain't that beautiful?
I did the stories and I did the illustrations. Sometimes they would send us scripts, but I throw them out the window. I happen to be a guy who does what he wants, lives the way he wants to. I love people in general, even the villains in my comics. To me, of people, there is something in their lives that makes them become a problem to others. That's how I saw everyone. Whatever I put in my comics, I hopefully feel that this love that people may have been transmitted to them and help them in, not help them in any way, I'm not a psychiatrist, but just giving them another friend. My characters never die. It's my own view till humanity itself. We never really die. You live on in your son, or you live on in somebody else. I don't know the answer, but somehow I feel that our lives are endless. The source, like everything else, is an everyday fact. The source lives with us day by day. We don't know what the source is, where it is. We can't identify its form, but we know it's there. This thing, this tremendous thing, governs our lives, and somehow we can all feel it inside. It's referred to as spiritual. It's referred to in many other ways, but we know instinctively that it's there, and that's what I put down in my stories, because like everybody else, I felt this thing. I felt this thing. And I felt that it was real. And I've kept it with me all my life. Now, I didn't resolve the questions. I'm a guy who lives with a lot of questions. I say, what's out there? And I try to resolve that. And I never can. I don't think anybody can. Who's got the answers? I sure would like to hear the ultimate one. But I haven't yet. And so I live with a lot of questions. And I find that entertaining. And if my life would have went tomorrow, it would be fulfilled in that manner. I would say the questions have been terrific.
Wow, that's one of my favorites too. Jack Kirby's. I got to do more Jack Kirby. And isn't it beautiful that Jack Kirby is here at number 20, and at number 19, it's his whole pal Stan Lee.
To me, the human aspect of superheroes has always been the most important part.
Big up Alec Moran, appreciate you. Drop that hype sticker.
Your superhero might be extra strong, or might be able to fly or run as fast as a comet. But unless you care about the superhero's personal life, you're just reading a shallow story. Just because a person has a superpower doesn't mean he might not have the same personal problems that you or I might. Just because a person has a superpower doesn't mean he might not have the same personal problems that you or I might. Maybe he doesn't have enough money. Maybe he has a family problem. Or maybe the girl he loves doesn't love him. Or maybe the girl he loves doesn't want to be involved with a superhero. There are so many things you can think of that round out the character and the personality. So the superhero isn't just one or two-dimensional. You want a three-dimensional superhero who lives and breathes and worries and experiences things just the way you and I do, except for the fact that he or she has a superpower. Just because a person has a superpower doesn't mean he might not have the same personal problems that you or I. Just because a person has a superpower.
Just because someone has a superpower
might not have the same personal problems that
Stanley and Akira the Dawn.
Because a person has a super
from that EP
doesn't mean he might.
That Stanley EP.
Same personal problems that you are.
The Immortal Stanley, I believe it was called, wasn't it? It was, yeah. The Immortal Stanley. That was a great one.
Have the same personal problems that you and I might.
Sat right next to Jack Kirby there, and that's just beautiful. That's beautiful. I bought this album on Bandcamp. I love this track, says The Roman Way. This is another one of my favorites, says Michael. Cool Killer says, I love that part with the audio from the 60s Spider-Man cartoon.
No, I think I will.
That I spoke over while reading your message. And this is a Stone Cold Meaningwave classic. If you haven't seen the music video for this, someone made a music video. A kid in school made this in his school, and it's an amazing music video.
Friday, about 6 p.m. In my room, playing Minecraft. Dad comes in. Hey, buddy. Any plans for the weekend? No, not really, no. Why don't you go out with some friends?
Number 18.
It's a nice night.
It's a nice night.
Conversation continues for another 5 minutes. Dad asks about girls and my friends. I try to dodge around admitting I have no friends and no experience with girls. But he knows. But he knows. Okay, buddy. Just let me know if you ever want to ride somewhere. Or you can borrow my car anytime you want. Pats me on the shoulder and leaves. I get back to Minecraft. After a few minutes, feel thirsty. No drinks in my room. Venture out to the kitchen. Hear my dad in the living room, crying. Look around the corner. He's looking through photo albums of pictures of me. Hey, Dad. He looks up, trying to hide that he was crying. I'm going out with some friends. Can I borrow the car? He smiles the happiest smile I've seen in years. Sure thing, buddy. He gets up and hugs me, tears in his eyes. I get dressed, get in the car and leave. I drive to an empty parking lot in an industrial area. I go to sleep in the back seat. Return home the next morning. Pretend I was out with friends all night. Dad hugs me again. I've been doing this almost every weekend for months now.
Barbecue says, I didn't have a dad that was a dad the way I want to be, but I won't let that stop me from being the dad to my kids that I want to be. Gotham says, such a good story, a tragedy and a comedy. Julia says, this one fucking kills me. Illa Ink says, this is intense. Everyone loves this song. I love that song. I'm very proud of the music on that one. I played all that, and it's mostly instrumental, and then the drums come in. That's one of my favorites. Shouts out to that song. That gave me some tingles and ting. Big up Internet Historian, did an amazing job choosing that green text, narrates, reading it. And yeah, if you haven't seen the music video, go watch the music video after this broadcast. It's amazing. Actually, Jason, can we raid a music video? I don't know if you can raid live streams or if you can raid videos. If we can raid the Be Me Play Minecraft music video, I feel like most people haven't seen that. Some things just kind of get lost. And it's like, they did an amazing job on that. This kid just hit me up, was like, oh, I'm like making a video at school and I want to make a video for this. I was like, all right. And then he sends it me and it was amazing. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, yo, that's emotional right there. I feel feelings. Be Me Play Minecraft, number 18. From the Internet Historian, Be Me, Internet Historian Reads the Green Texts EP, a classic that I feel should be heard by way more people. But it's also quite nice that things are rare, I guess. Speaking of rare, I guess. Ding, ding.
Given the triumphant academic setting here, an obvious question is how much of this work of adjusting our default setting involves actual knowledge or intellect. This question gets very tricky. Probably the most dangerous thing about an academic education, at least in my own case, is that it enables my tendency to over-intellectualize stuff. To get lost in abstract arguments inside my head instead of simply paying attention to what's going on right in front of me. Paying attention to what is going on inside me. As I'm sure you guys know by now, it is extremely difficult to stay alert and attentive instead of getting hypnotized by the constant monologue inside your own head. Maybe happening right now. 20 years after my own graduation, I have come gradually to understand that the liberal arts cliche about teaching you how to think is actually shorthand for a much deeper, more serious idea. Learning how to think really means learning how to exercise some control over how and what you think. It means being conscious and aware enough to choose what you pay attention to and to choose how you construct meaning from experience. Learning how to think.
Learning how to think.
Learning how to think. Learning how to think. Learning how to think. Learning how to think. Learning how to think. Learning how to think.
Because if you cannot exercise this kind of choice in adult life, you will be totally hosed. Think of the old cliche about, quote, the mind being an excellent servant but a terrible master.
Learning how to think from the incredible Water Wave mini album. There's lots of people's absolute favorite, and it is often the way. These rare things.
And everybody was finally equal. They weren't only equal before God and the law, they were equal every which way. Nobody was smarter than anybody else. Nobody was better looking than anybody else. Nobody was stronger or quicker than anybody else. All this equality was due to the 211th, 212th, and 213th Amendments to the Constitution, and to the unceasing vigilance of agents of the United States Handicapper General, Akira. Some things about living still weren't quite right, though. April, for instance, still drove people crazy by not being springtime. And it was in that clammy month that the HG men took George and Hazel Bergeron's 14-year-old son, Harrison, away. It was tragic, all right, but George and Hazel couldn't think about it very hard. Hazel had a perfectly average intelligence, which meant she couldn't think about anything except in short bursts. And George, while his intelligence was way above normal, had a little mental handicap radio in his ear. He was required by law to wear it at all times. It was tuned to a government transmitter. Every 20 seconds or so, the transmitter would send out some sharp noise to keep people like George from taking an unfair advantage of their brains. George and Hazel were watching television. There were tears on Hazel's cheeks, but she'd forgotten for the moment what they were about. On the television screen were ballerinas. A buzzer sounded in George's head. His thoughts fled in panic like bandits from a burglar alarm. That was a real pretty dance, that dance they just did, said Hazel. Huh? Said George. That dance, it was nice, said Hazel. Yep, said George. He tried to think a little about the ballerinas. They weren't really very good.
Harrison Bergeron 1, finally equal, is there. It's right there at number 16, is that? And you should listen to the whole thing. The whole thing is, I don't even know how long it is. It's an early experiment that when I was, inventing Meaningwave, I was doing all sorts of stuff. And I took Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut, which is a short story, which is an interesting part where Kurt Vonnegut and Ayn Rand sort of overlap in their dystopian view of the future. It's quite similar. Anyway, yeah, the whole thing is amazing. You should go listen to it. Weirdly enough, I was talking with Som, an old pal. If any of you remember My Vitriol, he's the singer in that band. Anyway, I was talking to him earlier, and we were talking about Harrison Bergeron, and here it is. I haven't listened to that probably since I made it. The artwork on that is amazing as well. Aldous Massey did it. I would check that out too. In fact, if I hadn't said we should go raid that Minecraft song, I'd say we should raid that, but maybe another day. Anyway, the next song on our chart, we're getting close now. We're getting close, and we're about to have a spurt, and I'll show you why in a minute. But at number 15, we're now 15 steps away from the least streamed Meaningwave song. This is really one of my very, very favorites. It's incredible. This might be like number one for me on a certain day.
He's got clout.
Even those that are supposedly born and never lose touch with the knowledge of their true nature, they are not much help to humanity because they don't know how to meet anybody where they are. In order to be of help to humanity, you have to take the pathways yourself. You have to take the pathways yourself that you are then going to suggest to
Yeah, that song fucks me up. I love that song. Shouts out to Rupert Spira. There will be more Rupert Spira. Don't you worry about that. I could do so much Rupert Spira. It's a very specific kind of an energy. I listen to loads of Rupert Spira, weirdly. Anyway, it's not weird. He's great. That song does things to me, and there it is. Just 15 away from the very, very least loved. The least loved. Then at number 14, it's Harrison Bergeron, Finally Equal. 13, Harrison Bergeron, A Doozy. And at 12, Harrison Bergeron, Back to the Dark Ages again. And you can go listen to that whole Harrison Bergeron thing separately. That's fast forwards us to a number 11. We're about to hit the top 10. At number 11, Terence McKenna. Bad Buddha says, whoa, these songs get more intense the further we go down.
Life is tremendously tenacious and has an immense capacity to organize itself to meet any crisis, provided it knows it's coming. There are scars on this planet, enormous scars. There's a scar 1.5 billion years old on the Canadian Shield that is twice the size of the lunar crater Copernicus. Now, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Now, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on?
What is going on with Terence McKenna? Couple of Terence McKenna songs there in the top 50, which seems, sorry, the bottom 50, which seems mad to me, but there it is. And that's a banger, but you know, we got to keep it moving, baby, because we got to get to the top 10. And the top 10, number 10, 10 steps away from the least loved. I love this song. Someone requested this on the Meaningwave Live Super Request show yesterday. Some people love these unloved songs. Isn't that funny?
Habit. Young children are born with no habit loops. They're essentially born as blank slates. And then they habituate themselves to things and they learn patterns and they get conditioned and they use that to get through everyday life. And habits are good. Habits are good. Habits are good. Habits can allow you to background process certain things. So habits are good so that your frontal lobe stays available to solve brand new problems. So unconsciously pick up habits in the background and we keep them for decades and we may not realize that they're bad for us. So we're ready to move on from them. To some extent, you know, our attitude in life, our mood, our happiness levels, depression levels, these are also habits. Do we judge people? How often do we eat? What kinds of food do we eat? Do we walk or do we sit? Do we move? Do we exercise? Do we read? Do we read? Do we read? These are habits as well.
9 steps away from the bottom. It's fucking classic. How?
I should make it clear, you know, I don't believe this stuff. I find believing in these high-flown, complicated synthetic systems to come off sort of like pathology. So I entertain ideas, but I don't give belief over.
What I do.
I'm a meme spreader. What I do. I'm a meme spreader. What I do. I'm a meme spreader. Meme spreader. A meme replicator.
Replicators! This is incredible. The top 10 is so fire.
Why us? Why us? Why?
And I cannot believe this. I've just looked ahead.
Unified.
You are not going to believe
time to us.
This top 10. And actually, okay, I'm going to take the opportunity to do this right now, okay? I want you all to guess the number 1.
Believe
All of you take a guess at the number one based on what you've heard so far and how weird it is that certain bangers are like down here. And whoever guesses the number one gets an item of their choosing from the Meaningwave store. If anyone gets it, you can have one guess each.
Where it's at.
If anyone guesses the bottom song correctly, you can have an item of your choosing from Meaningwave.com.
What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. Yeah. A meme replicator.
Fucking hell. Hey, number 8.
The body and its parts are a river. Everything is just an impression, said the cynic, and the response is obvious enough. But the point is a useful one, if you take it for what it's worth. The soul of man does violence to itself first, when it does its best to become an abscess, a kind of detached growth from the world. To be vexed by anything that happens is a kind of succession from nature, which compromises the nature of all things. To be vexed by anything that happens is a kind of succession from nature, and it compromises the nature of all things. The soul of man does violence to itself when it turns its back on another, or sets out to do harm, as the souls of the angry do. When overpowered by pleasure or pain, when it puts on a mask and does or says anything insincerely and untruly. When it allows its action an impulse to be without a purpose, to be random and disconnected. Even the smallest things ought to be directed towards a goal of a rational animal. Follow the reason it already got. Duration, momentary, nature, changeable, perception, dim, condition of body, decaying, slow, spinning around, fortune, unpredictable, lasting fame, uncertain. The body and its parts are a river, soul's a dream you missed. Life is warfare and a journey far from home. After famous oblivion, the body and its heart's a river. Soul is a dream and mist. Life is warfare and a journey far from home. After famous oblivion.
Yo, this top 10 is fire! The bottom 10. Bear in mind that what's going on here is we're counting down, and each song we get closer to the least streamed on DSPs. The least. You'd think it was kind of the other way around or something, but nah. I mean, it's pretty mysterious. Wow, I am the king of Meaningwave segues. Number 7 with Jordan B. Peterson. The mysterious.
We don't understand the world. Like, I do think the world is more like a musical masterpiece than it is like anything else. And things are oddly connected. Now, I know that sounds new agey and it sounds metaphysical. I'm saying bluntly, this is speculative, right? I'm feeling out beyond the limits of my knowledge. I'm not willing to dismiss the mysterious. Wow! The mysterious. I'm not willing to dismiss the mysterious. I've experienced the mysterious in a variety of different ways, and it's very mysterious.
It is mysterious.
Mysterious.
How that's the 7th least played song is an absolute mystery.
Men don't struggle for power. That's what
number
men
6.
do. Not if they're civilized. They size each other up and elect the competent to lead them. And they do that at every level of society. I worked in a rail crew in southern Saskatchewan. They're rough guys, like a lot of them had been in prison, And when you first came onto the rail crew, you got a stupid nickname and people teased you. And I remember this one kid called Lunchbucket. That was his nickname because he came to the rail crew with a lunch bucket that looked like his mom had packed it. That was a bad idea. So they named him Lunch Bucket, which he wasn't very happy about. Well, that was a mistake. He should have taken it with a smile. And then he was always peevish and irritable. And if you asked him to do something, he'd whine. Soon, there's about 60 men on this crew. It stretched out about a quarter of a mile down the tracks. Soon, anonymous harassers were throwing pebbles at him during work. We had hard hats on, so the game was, let's see if we can hit that Lunch Bucket in the hard hat with a pebble. And then that was purposeful because he couldn't take a joke. It's like, well, let's see if he can take this joke. Clunk. And then he just got more and more peevish, and the pebbles got bigger and 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 bigger. And, a week later, Lunch Bucket was gone, having not learned anything from the experience. But the men were testing him out. It's like, can you take a joke? Can you be useful? Can you at least be amusing? Is there something worthwhile about you? It's like, no. It's like, okay, well then, you're out of here.
Fear.
Because you never know when we actually might need to depend on you.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. How is that the 6th least listened to Meaningwave song? It's a brilliant song. I wonder what happens at Lunch Bucket. Yeah, I wish someone would do a documentary. It'd be a great documentary. If iDubbbz wasn't I don't know what happened to him. If whatever happened to him hadn't happened to him, iDubbbz could do a great documentary where he tracks down Lunch Bucket, and find out what happened to him, to find out if being bullied by Jordan Peterson and his buddies chucking rocks at his head, what happened to him? Maybe he got brain damage. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe he sorted himself out. What I cannot believe, I am absolutely baffled by this. The 5th least streamed Meaningwave song.
Genie is the root word for genius. And it's a really interesting idea because there's this unlimited power that's associated with genius, but it's constrained. And that's really what the human spirit is like. What? Because it has this aspect of the infinite. And it is something that can grant wishes. But it's also constrained terribly. I don't ask God for favors. Or for wishes. Or for wishes. No. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes.
Just going crazy.
Bruh. Morally and physically and all that. But
what?
This is that
no way.
Both the infinite possibility and the constraint are necessary. That's what makes up the genie. It has to be both at the same time. And the idea that, if you find your genie, you can have your wishes. It's right. You have to really want what you're wishing for.
Number 1 song on Sheila's rap list last year.
Get it. Can't be just some whim.
Incredible.
You have to ask for something that you would rather not have. Which is usually wisdom. Somebody asked me about prayer. They asked me if I prayed, and I thought, well, it depends on what you mean by that. Exactly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. But I do think that if you sit on the edge of your bed and you ask what foolish thing you're doing to make it worse, that you'll get an answer right now. And it won't be the one you want, but it might be the one that if you listen to would set things straight. I don't think that I've ever been in a situation where if something wasn't going right for me and I sat and thought, okay, I'm willing to figure out what I'm doing wrong, which is a big thing to think because you never know how much you're doing wrong. It might be something that you really don't want to contend with. But if you clear some space to meditate on that, probability that you'll figure out something that you did that was stupid, that's bending you and twisting you in the wind, you'll get an answer very, very rapidly. I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. You know, I don't ask God for favors or for wishes or for wishes. You know, and it's not obvious how you do that. You know, I mean, it's not like you know how you're manipulating your neurons or something. It happens of its own accord in some sense, like you can participate in it, I guess, and you can interfere with it, and it seems to take a certain amount of willpower, but it still all happens mysteriously behind the scenes. And I would say this sort of attitude towards, let's say, prayer that we're discussing is just an extension of that. It's something like, well, you admit that there's a problem first, and then you ask for the minimum necessary intervention, which would be, all right, well, I'd like to move forward on this. Some small amount that someone like me could actually manage. I'd be willing to carry it out. And then you reorient the way you're thinking as a consequence of that, and something usually pops out of the abyss to guide you. Very strange. But it's not really any stranger than the fact that we can think at all. Because the fact that we can think is actually very strange. Strange like the fact that we can dream is strange. And that's strange beyond belief that you can dream. Or that something in you dreams. Which is a much better way of thinking about it, because it's not like you're really in control of your dreams.
I don't ask God for favors or for wishes, or for wishes, you know. Mute Barbecue says, when you find yourself hoping your favorite Meaningwave songs are in the bottom 50 so you get to hear them. Everybody was shocked to see that there. Let me tell you now, the shocks aren't over. This is blowing my mind. It's an incredible thing. I'll tell you what, what's cool is, Jason's made a playlist of this. There'll be a link at the end of, once we've had the last song, we'll post the link in the chat. We'll post it in the description of the broadcast. And the playlist will be for all the places. There'll be a Spotify and iTunes and all the and Apple and Amazon, whatever the fuck, YouTube. And you can then go and listen to the least loved songs. I saw, was it Sheila earlier, annoyed about how our playlist kept playing the same songs over and over? Well, you can listen to this playlist and give these songs some love. And then maybe next month they won't be at the bottom anymore and there'll be a new bottom, you know? And the cycle will continue. So that's interesting. Mike Can says, I thought this would be mid-50s at least. Well, you got to bear in mind there are 600 plus Meaningwave songs. There's actually more than 600. I realize now there are a few that weren't in my list. So, you know, the top 50 and the bottom 50 combined still doesn't include 500 songs. There's, you know what I mean? There's a lot of songs. And we got a big year coming up, baby. So we're gonna be pumping up those numbers. You know what I mean? So number 5, Wishes, with Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. Bafflingly, incredibly, but lovelily, because it's nice to hear the song. At number 4, another one of my very favorites, gets very little love. It's quite tragic when you consider the subject matter. This is a beautiful song. It's called Generally Miserable, with Marilyn Monroe.
Do I feel happy in life? Let's see. Let's say I hope I'm finding happiness. Alright? Well, for me, if I can realize certain things in my work, I come the closest to being happy. And I can say that also about my life. So it only happens, I think, in moments. Sometimes when I'm working, and I'll be able to fulfill a scene truthfully, and then I think I'm the happiest. What I find is very stimulating to keep studying and working, but I'm not just generally happy. If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable. I'm not just generally happy. If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable. I'm not just generally happy. If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable. I don't know. Sometimes. I don't know. I think sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Which is natural, I guess, for everyone. I would like to be more sociable than I am. On some days. Sometimes I chat when I'm not pleased, but sometimes the work itself requires more, that I'm quiet and to myself more. And other days, like doing a musical number, I try not to get too, I like to be more outgoing, because that's what I have to express, and so I try to keep it general. I try. Even if I feel like it or not, I try to make the effort to make contact with people around me. Yes, because I could easily be alone. It doesn't bother me to be alone. Some people I know, they don't like to be alone. I don't mind it. I need it as a rest. And yeah, it kind of refreshes myself. Yeah. And a rest. I'm not just generally happy. If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable. I'm not just generally happy. If I'm generally anything, I guess I'm generally miserable. I think there's two things in human beings that they, as I think there is in myself, that they want to be alone, but they also want to be together. You know? Because I think I have also a gay side to me, also a sad side. And I think that's the way with people ultra. So there is something in people, they need solitude for a while.
I haven't listened to that for a long time. For some reason, right at the end, I just welled up a bit. Right at the end, I don't even know why. She didn't say anything particularly. I don't know. No. That's crazy, and that is the fourth least played Meaningwave song, and I would say that's a masterpiece. of some kind, with Marilyn Monroe there, who says something very profound. Jesus, that should have looked that, but that thing about humans wanting to be alone and together is pretty intense. Fucking hell. Number 3 is carbon, right? Another one of the very best.
It comes from the air. It's carbon dioxide from the air. People look at trees and they think it comes out of the ground. The plants grow out of the ground. But if you ask where the substance comes, you find out where does it come from. Trees come out of the air? They surely come out of the air. No, they come out of the air. No, they come out of the air. The carbon dioxide in the air goes into the tree and it changes it, kicking out the oxygen and pushing the oxygen away from the carbon and leaving the carbon substance with water. Water comes out of the ground. Only it came out of the air, didn't it? It came down from the sky. So in fact, most of the tree, almost all of the tree is out of the ground. I'm sorry, it's out of the air. Now, of course, I told you the oxygen and carbon stick together very tight. How is it the tree is so smart and managed to take the carbon dioxide, which is the carbon oxygen, nicely combined, and undo that? Life has some mysterious force. No, the sun is shining. And it's the sunlight that comes down and knocks its oxygen away from the carbon. So it takes sunlight to get the plant to work. And so the sun, all the time, is doing the work of separating the oxygen away from the carbon. The oxygen is some kind of terrible byproduct, which it spits back into the air, and leaving the carbon and water and stuff to make the substance of the tree. Then when we take the substance of the tree and stick it in the fireplace, there's all the oxygen made by these trees. And all the carbon would much prefer to be close together again. And once you let the heat to get it started, it continues and makes an awful lot of activity while it's going back together again. And all this nice light and everything comes out. And everything is being undone. You're going back to carbon and oxygen, back to carbon dioxide. And the light and heat that's coming out, that's the light and heat of the sun that went in. The sun that went in. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log. So it's sort of stored sun that's coming out when you burn a log.
Incredible. Almost incredible enough to wipe away the tears from the previous song. I can't believe that is number 3. It is number 3. I sort of can, I guess, but it's one of my favorites. And there it is, the third least loved Meaningwave song on digital streaming platforms. That's Spotify, Amazon, all of those things. Somehow the algorithms have not blessed that beautiful song. This next one, I cannot believe what's at number 2. I cannot believe what's at number 2. I cannot believe it, brothers and sisters. And you won't believe it either, but it's the case. It's the case.
I've really been trying to make sense of this, because, well, what the hell's going on? Why am I selling out 3,000 person auditoriums? I use the stage, let's say, as a opportunity in real time to think. I've been thinking, well, if you're surfing, you don't confuse yourself with the wave. The wave.
What?
The wave.
What?
That's a real mistake. You might be on top of the wave, but you're not the wave. The wave. The wave. That's a real mistake. You might be on top of the wave, but you're not the wave. I think this long-form discussion. And the public hunger for that is best conceptualized like that. There's a technological revolution.
It's a deep one.
Online video and audio. Immediately accessible to everyone all over the world. It's turned the spoken word into a tool that has the same reach as the printed word. So it's a Gutenberg revolution in the domain of video and audio. And it might be even deeper than the original Gutenberg revolution because it isn't obvious how many people can read, but lots of people can listen.
The wave. The wave. The wave.
You might be on top of the wave.
The wave. The wave. The wave.
You might be on top of the wave.
You're not the wave.
I had to put the chat on screen. Just go crazy.
A bit of it with radio, but there was bandwidth limitation.
That is the word that came to me. Someone just said, like, this is iconic. This is Meaningwave. This is iconic.
If you were stellar.
Mute Barbecue says, I told you the 50 deepest cuts.
Arguments.
Normies just don't get these. They wouldn't understand.
To a kind of oversimplified.
Yeah, the 160,000 people who listen to Meaningwave
but now
on Spotify alone this month, like the 99.9% of them, or whatever the fuck the math is,
real long-form discussion,
missed these gems.
Turns out that everyone is way smarter than we thought.
The wave.
Apart from the people who missed this.
The wave.
Meaningwave Autonomous Zone, make some noise.
That's a real mistake.
You might be on top of the wave, but you're not the wave. Release Real B says, we are the wave.
The wave.
Yeah, you're the wave.
The wave.
You might be on top of the wave.
The wave.
The people, the forefront of this, are being cascaded forward like a surfer on a giant wave. On this technological transformation, it's necessary to keep your ego under control. With regards to the people coming to see me, the proper attitude towards that, and I think this is true for any performer, is gratitude.
Gratitude.
You bloody well be happy those people are there. And you should never think there's something spectacularly special about yourself that's attracting these people and that somehow you're above them and they're your fans, or there's this real power differential, even though that sort of manifests itself because people are so happy to see you. That's a dangerous pathway, and I truly am ridiculously overwhelmed and grateful and happy and pleased that all these people show up.
These people show up. These people show up. The chat really couldn't take that one. Sheila says they're listening to too much Goggins and Choco. They need to free their minds. Mute Barbecue says genius is always misunderstood. Puppy on the Train says a lot of waving emojis. I'm gonna prove that. I guess I gotta help get these rookie numbers up, says Mike Kemp. Gratitude says CHH. We are the wave, says Bellissimo B. Anyway, says Link, the list is clearly incorrect. Yeah, I told you. I took a brief glance. I was genuinely shocked because I didn't go over it with a fine comb of teeth or anything like that. You know what I mean? I didn't do that. So I was as surprised as you were. Ben Goodwin says number one is going to be off JBP Wave Genesis for sure. I guess nobody has guessed number one. Nobody got it right. And it's great because it's, surprise is good, huh? Surprise is a wonderful thing. Here we are at the end of our journey. What a wonderful journey. Do we know, has anyone worked out whose idea this was? Do we know that yet? Because we do need to know that. We need to know whose idea this was, because it was a great idea. This was a great idea. This has been very educational. This has been very informative. It's been very interesting. Shecky says, mind blown. Yeah. Ben says, maybe it's our act as if God exists. Imagine that. Austin Zummerman says, preemptive. Whatever it is. Yeah, you'll want a drum roll. You ain't getting a drum roll. You're getting a countdown. You're getting a countdown. That's what you're getting. All right, we're counting down. the bottom. We're counting down to the very bottom of the Meaningwave listened songs. These are the least listened to songs, starting with the most least at 50, Nature is Still Ours with Joseph Campbell. 49, Noah 4 with Jordan B. Peterson, Something to Do with Respect. 48, Freedom of Speech with Noam Chomsky. 47, There Will Be Noise with Alan Watts. 46, Agrarian Society with Alan Watts. 45, Here It Comes with Joseph Campbell. 44, Wild Man with Jordan Peterson. Number 43, Not Greatly Changed with Joseph Campbell. 42, Beautiful Woman with Jordan Peterson. 41, Accepted 2 with Alan Watts and Carl Young. At 40, it's Tammy with Jordan Peterson. At 39, Organized Mess with Alan Watts. At 38, The Archaic Revival with Terence McKenna. At 37, Mother's No Good with Joseph Campbell. At 36, Any Dream You Wanted 2 with Alan Watts. At 35, The Greatest Year with Gary Vaynerchuk. 34, It's Using Machines with Jim Morrison. At 33, Be Me Love Popcorn with Internet Historian. At 32, Music Is Everything with Jordan B. Peterson. Bloody hell. 31, Be Me 16, B with Internet Historian. At 29, Grateful to the Gods with Marcus Aurelius, Are You Mad or What? 28, Grown Out of Myth with Joseph Campbell. 27, Be Me in Elementary School with Internet Historian. 26, Cosmic Order with Joseph Campbell. At 25, It's Good versus Good with Scott Adams. At 24, It's Arch Nemesis with Eric Weinstein. At 23, I Had to Make Sales with Jack Kirby. At 22, The Golden Age. That's me. 21, Be a Plumber with Jordan B. Peterson. At 20, The Questions Have Been Terrific with Jack Kirby. At number 19, Just Because Someone Has a Superpower with Stan Lee. At number 18, Be Me Play Minecraft with Internet Historian. At number 17, Inside My Head with David Foster Wallace from the Waterwave LP. Everybody loves that. 16, Harrison Bergeron 3, The Emperor with Kurt Vonnegut. 14, I Had to Become Like You with Rupert Spira. That's an Easter song. That's a Christmas song. That's a Christian song. 14, Harrison Bergeron 1, Finally Equal with Kurt Vonnegut. 13, Harrison Bergeron 4, A Doozy with Kurt Vonnegut. Number 12, Harrison Bergeron 2, Back to the Dark Ages again with Kurt Vonnegut. Number 11, What Is Going On? Not with Kurt Vonnegut, with Terence McKenna. We're in the top 10. Habits with Naval Ravikant Habits. What? Oh yeah. Number 9, Mean Magic featuring Terence McKenna. At number 8, A River with Marcus Aurelius. At number 7, The Mysterious with Jordan Peterson. It's mysterious how it's down there. At number 6 is Lunch Bucket with Jordan B. Peterson. Maybe people don't want to listen to songs about bullying a guy to Lunch Bucket. I don't know. I think they would love it if they heard it. Number 5, Wishes with Jordan B. Peterson. Stone Cold Classic, Are You Mad? Number 4, It Made Me Cry on stream. I very rarely do that. Generally Miserable with Marilyn Monroe. Number 3, Trees Come Out of the Air with Richard Feynman. And that's a banger, I don't care. Number 2, an absolute iconic Meaningwave classic, The Wave with Jordan B. Peterson. What is number 1? After that kind of ridiculousness. What is number 1? How? It's crazy. People are going nuts. Gotham, Grateful to the Gods was on the list. That's my favorite song. Yeah. What is going on, says Mike Count. Poppy on a Train says, how is Harrison Bergeron in the bottom 50? I don't know, because you haven't listened to it enough. This is all your fault. You made this happen. Shaky Pavel says, banger. CH, is Loving Indifference the number 1? I would hate that because it's such a hidden gem. Yeah, but you get to hear it. You're going to find out now what is number 1. The least listened to. The least appreciated by people who listen to their music on the major streaming platforms. And it's kind of mental because without the voice, the person whose voice is on this, without that person, Meaningwave would not exist. This person was instrumental in Meaningwave coming into existence. Meaningwave came into existence because I made 3 songs and I put them all out, and you know, they were all different. It was when I was in this experimental phase. I was doing instrumentals, I was doing all sorts of weird stuff, and I made 3 songs. One of them sampled a Grand Theft Auto bit of speech. It was called All You Had to Do Was Follow the Damn Train, CJ, or something. I put out another one called Heraeth, and it was sampling a lady on a British radio broadcast talking about the nature of Heraeth. And I also put out another little song called Be a Plumber, about, you know, the importance of being good and useful in this world, right? And that one did the best. It did really well. And that week I listened to a podcast, and the guy in the podcast said, quadruple down on what works. And I said, okay, I will. So I made the JBP Wave mixtape as a result of listening to that podcast and that advice. And that advice came from a man called James Altucher. He's got one Meaningwave song, and it's this. The number one, the most underappreciated of all the Meaningwave songs is James Altucher featuring.
I realized this.
This is Idea Muscle.
First off, everybody says, oh, ideas are a dime a dozen, execution is everything.
Yeah!
And they just assume that at some point they'll be walking around and like lightning will strike them and they'll think, oh my gosh, people should share cars and I'll make an app in the middle to connect people with cars and I'll call it Uber. No, ideas don't really work like that. Nor does execution work the way most people think. People think, I'm going to take this great idea and now I'm going to do it. The doing it can happen in 1,000 different ways. People don't realize there's a whole spectrum of execution ranging from really, really bad so that an idea will fail, or really, really good so that even a bad idea might have a chance for success. For success. Having ideas is like a muscle. Having ideas is like a muscle. Hey! Idea muscle. Having ideas is like a muscle. Idea muscle. I'll try to practice having 10 ideas a day. Idea muscle. Doesn't have to be a good idea or a bad idea. Idea muscle.
That's crazy. Bop, bop. Yeah, we back. We back with that number one.
Akira.
Yeah.
I realized this way back. First off, everybody says, oh, ideas are a dime a dozen, execution is everything. And they just assume that at some point they'll be walking around and like lightning will strike them and they'll think, oh my gosh, people should share cars and I'll make an app in the middle to connect people with cars and I'll call it Uber. No, ideas don't really work like that. Nor does execution work the way most people think. People think, I'm going to take this great idea and now I'm going to do it. The doing it can happen in 1,000 different ways. People don't realize there's a whole spectrum of execution ranging from really, really bad so that an idea will fail, or really, really good so that even a bad idea might have a chance for success. For success. Having ideas is like a muscle. Having ideas is like a muscle. Idea muscle. Having ideas is like a muscle. Idea muscle. I'll try to practice having 10 ideas a day. Idea muscle. Doesn't have to be a good idea or a bad idea. Idea muscle. But it keeps that idea muscle in practice. If you're sick and you lie in bed for 2 weeks, you might actually need physical therapy to walk again. Your leg muscles atrophy that fast. It's the same thing with ideas. If you don't have ideas every day, your idea muscle is not going to get bigger. It might atrophy. And so I try to practice. I'll come up with a topic and I'll try to practice having 10 ideas a day around. Each day will be a different topic, but I'll try to have 10 good ideas around that topic. Now, they won't be good ideas because you can't have 3,650 good ideas a year, but I tried to make sure they're as good as they possibly could be. I've been doing this ever since I wanted to network, and I'm not a very good networker. I wanted to ask my heroes, can I buy you a cup of coffee and pick your brain? And so I wrote to 20 people. They didn't even say no. None of them responded. Why would they respond? Warren Buffett's not going to say, hold everything. Clear my schedule, Gladys. He's never going to even respond to me. He's going to think I'm an idiot. So then I started researching everyone's business, and I started writing down 10 ideas for Warren Buffett's business, 10 ideas for this person's business, 10 ideas for this person's business. And then I would send those ideas to the people, and I would say, hey, you don't have to respond to this. I don't want anything, but I really admire you and your business. Here's 10 things where I think your business can improve. And then I started getting responses, and it actually changed my life, some of those responses. And so I started doing it every single day without fail. Since then. Having ideas is like a muscle. I'll try to practice having 10 ideas a day. Doesn't have to be a good idea or a bad idea. But it keeps that idea muscle in practice.
Wow. Amazing. Well, so we still don't know who it was who had that idea, the idea muscle to do the bottom 50. Would the bottom 50 be good? Would it just be trash that we've forgotten? No, there is no trash. Meaningwave is all magnificent. Meaningwave is all wonderful. And the least loved song is fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I think that was a success as far as experimental live stream formats go. We might revisit that. I mean, here's the mission. Yeah, if you check in the description, hang on a second. Post in chat. Smiley face. Yeah, so Jason, we've got the playlist. Spotify, Apple, etc. There is one link that accesses all the playlists, so you can listen on your favorite platform. If you do even listen on DSPs, maybe you just listen to the Meaningstream. I don't know. But yeah, Jason's going to post that link. It's in the description of the broadcast, and he should be posting it in the chat any minute. Yep, there it is. There it is. There is the playlist there. So everyone go follow that playlist on your platform of choice. I'll pin that, shall I? Can I pin it? Pin. No, I don't want to put that user in timeout. I don't want to put Jason Eva in timeout. He's been very good. He's very good. There you go. Yeah, go follow that playlist. And if you listen to those songs all month, hypothetically, we should have a completely different bottom 50 next month. I would be interested to see if that works. There is the experiment. There is your mission. Go follow that playlist and listen to those songs. And maybe there's some new ones in there that you hadn't heard before, you know? Maybe there's some exciting new songs that you've never heard before. And I saw people saying that during the stream, that there were songs they'd not heard before, you know? Panning Gaz says, hot Marionberry pie in the kitchen for you, Sonia. Wait, what? That's such a confusing message. I don't know what a Marionberry pie is. It sounds delicious. Shouts out to you. And shouts out to everyone who's been listening to Meaningwave. Shouts out to the literal dozen, 13 people who streamed Idea Muscle on streaming platforms in the past month. Versus, of course, the 35,000, I believe it was, who streamed the number one song, which is There Must Be Discipline. Isn't it interesting that both songs are about discipline? By the way, the data is from December the 1st to January 2nd. Thank you, Jason. We love data information. You'd hear him at the end there mentioning discipline, right? Basically, they're both songs about discipline. The discipline of executing one's idea muscle and the proclamation that there must be discipline. Two very, different speakers, both of them instrumental in Meaningwave. As I said, Meaningwave wouldn't exist without James Altucher. And isn't it crazy how close Jordan B. Peterson was to being number one? That's just absolutely mind-boggling. A wonderful chart, a wonderful stream, a wonderful time, I think you'll agree. Thank you all for being here. As always, the Meaningstream is brought to you by Meaningwave.com. Open up a tab and head on over to Meaningwave.com and take advantage of our 20% off New Year's sale while you still can. A couple of days left on that, and we have some magnificent new apparel for you to check out. Some dope new threads, some fire new items for you to check out. They're very, very lovely, and we've also got, all the other stuff that we have. The classics. We've got cool things back in stock. We've got hats, and we've got epic items of glory and wonder. I am very glad that I named that section that, because that's what it is. It's epic items of glory and wonder. And we've also got, as people ask me on a daily basis, Akira the Don, for example, I'm sure someone will message me and say, Idea Muscle is my favorite song, and it freaks me out that what you got for that, for me, for that this month was 0.04 cents times 13. Whatever that is. I can't do the math. But they will say to me, Akira the Don, I'm pretty sure that does not reflect the value that Meaningwave has brought into my life and the lives of others. And I would like to donate to the cause of Meaningwave. You can go to resources, hit support Meaningwave, and in there are links: PayPal, Patreon, Bitcoin, ETH, Venmo, Cash App, all of that. And to those of you that do support Meaningwave, we thank you. Wouldn't exist without you. Meaningwave would be like that tree that Alan Watts spoke about in that song that falls in the woods with no one there to hear it. Doesn't make a noise because there's no ear to catch the noise. You are the ear that hears the tree in the forest. Brave Meaningwave enjoyer. Sagittarius did the math. It's half a penny. Half a penny was made from that fine record in the past month. Half a penny. Isn't that wonderful? Oh my lord. Bros, the shirts are dope, says JT the Lionheart. I personally love my JBP shirt. You're a man of taste, aren't you? Mike Can says, how about an exact middle 50 played songs from the entire 23? From the entire 23? That's an interesting and specific top 50. But who knows? Who knows? It's an interesting and cool stream format, and I've enjoyed doing the stream. And I'm now going to bid you farewell. Thank you all for being here. Once again, head on over to Meaningwave.com and take advantage of the sale where you can. Smash the like if you've not yet done it already, and leave a comment on your way out. And join us tomorrow when we will be doing a lo-fi live score for a classic tome. I do believe that's what's happening tomorrow. Indeed, we're lo-fi live scoring The Power of Your Unconscious Mind. And if you head on over to the live tab, you can register your attendance there. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here. Love to you and your family. God bless and good night. And no, Bellissimo B, no one guessed the number one. Better luck next time. Thank you, Jason, Eva, and everybody. Love you. Good night.